In this video, we're checking out Android TV 16 running on Raspberry Pi 4, and honestly, I did not expect this tiny board to handle it this well. It boots, it runs, it streams, and even supports retro emulation using things like RetroArch and Daijishō for light gaming. Now we're still limited to low DRM, so don't expect HD in Netflix, but for a Pi, this is actually impressive. So let's jump right into it. Before we start, here's everything you'll need. A Raspberry Pi 4, I'm using the 4 gigs model. A micro SD card, mine is a 256 gig SanDisk. A remote, and I'm using Air Mouse, but a mini keyboard also works great. An USB stick for G apps and Widevine. And finally, a controller. I'm using the Easy SMX X05. And since the Pi supports Bluetooth, you can pair pretty much any Bluetooth remote or gamepad. To download Android TV 16, head over to constakang.com, go to Raspberry Pi 4 section and look for Android TV 16. From here, download three things: the Android TV 16 image, the Widevine 16 for basic DRM support, and the G-Apps Play Store package. Pretty much that's everything we'll need to complete this setup. Next, you'll want to open Balena Etcher, select the Android TV 16 image, choose your SD card and hit flash. This takes a few minutes, so grab a snack or drink while it works. And while that's flashing, copy G-Apps and Widevine onto your USB stick because we'll install those through recovery mode. Before we boot into Android, here's very quick specs recap of the Raspberry Pi 4. It has a quad-core ARM Cortex A72 CPU running at 1.5 GHz. Supports up to 8 gigs of RAM, but I'm using the 4 gigs model. It does have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.0 and a gigabit Ethernet. And the dual micro HDMI ports capable of 4K at 60 FPS output, and of course storage is through the micro SD card slot. Not powerful by today's standards, but for Android TV builds like this is more than enough. And if you enjoyed this video so far, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, it really helps the channel grow. First boot will take a little longer than usual, that's totally normal. Once Android loads, set up your remote, connect to Wi-Fi if you want to, but it's not necessary yet. Then go to Settings, System, Buttons, and enable Advanced Restart. After that, go into Raspberry Pi settings and change the audio output to HDMI. Now it's time to restart the system and choose Recovery. With the USB plugged into your Pi, go to Install, select your storage, choose the Play Store G-Apps package, swipe to install, then select Wipe, confirm, repeat the exact same step for Widevine, and that's pretty much all we need to do here. Click on the top arrows and select Reboot and select System. Now let's check if everything worked. After you completed the initial setup, just like an usual Android TV box, we can see Play Store is here now. But let's check the system information as well. If you go to Settings, System, About, and you'll see Android version. And yes, this is Android 16. Compared to Android TV 15, I noticed a few improvements. It's slightly a faster animation, smoother UI transitions, it's a better Bluetooth stability, better compatibility with newer apps, and so far I haven't had any Wi-Fi drops. It's not a massive upgrade, but it definitely feels more polished. You can also enable developer options and set the animation scale to 0.5x to make everything feel snappier. Before we get into gaming, I also want to quickly talk about RetroArch and Daijishō. I installed RetroArch using the guide from Russ over the Retro Game Corps, specifically his Firestick guide, and it made everything so much easier. I'll leave a link to his written guide in the description because he explained everything, every step clearly. How to install RetroArch, how to configure it, and how to download the cores you need. For Daijishō, I just wanted a nice front end to make everything look cleaner and easier to navigate, and it works great on Android TV 16. So yeah, big thanks to Russ, his guide helped a lot with this setup. Now that the Play Store is working, you can download all your favorite apps, YouTube, Downloader, and my favorite Jellyfin. Checking DRM Info, we still only get Widevine L3. That means premium streaming apps won't play in HD or 4K, but for YouTube, Jellyfin, Plex, IPTV, and general media playback, everything works perfectly and playback is smooth. Now, of course, we need to test some gaming. Let's start with Asphalt 8. This game runs really well on the Pi. It is a smooth gameplay and responsive controls. Next, we have Fast Like a Fox. It's a simple game, but it's great for testing input latency, and the Pi handles it easily. Next, let's check cloud gaming. Using Xbox Game Pass or xCloud, performance is pretty much the same as Android TV 15. Over Wi-Fi, it's usable, but if you plug in Ethernet, everything becomes much smoother. Cloud gaming is definitely doable on this setup. And that's Android TV 16 running on the Raspberry Pi 4. It's not perfect, but for media streaming, light gaming, or retro emulation, and maybe just tinkering, this is a super fun little build. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what do you think about this build, how would you improve it, and what should I try next. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.